an introduction to work and energy. What is work? In our daily lives, we associate the state of doing work with physical and mental exertion. We associate work with getting tired, with fatigue and discomfort. But work has a very precise definition in physics. What is energy? Here, our conception of it is much closer to the scientific definition. It is the capacity to do work. This implies that work involves a reduction in the energy of the person doing it. We shall see that many of our preconceived notions about the true nature of work and energy are mistaken. So let's delve together into these concepts and gain some insights. The scientific conception of work. In physics, work done is dependent on two factors. Number one, a body must be under the influence of a force or exerting a force on another body. And number two, a body should move under the influence of this force or displace another body through the use of force. Work is done only when both conditions are satisfied. This means that merely exerting a force is not sufficient to determine whether work is being done. This also means that the movement of an object is also not sufficient to determine if work is being done on or by the object. Mathematically, work done is equal to force multiplied by displacement. It is important to remember that the displacement should take place while the force is being applied. Energy. The difference between work and energy is a bit difficult to wrap our minds around initially. However, an analogy can be of considerable help when understanding abstract concepts. Consider a person who has an income of 10,000 rupees a month. This indicates that he has the capacity to spend at least 10,000 rupees in that month. If he spends this money, his income, it reduces his ability to spend. If he saves this money, his ability to spend money will increase with time. But whether he spends or saves, his spending and his income are recorded using the same units, which is rupees. The relationship between energy and work are almost precisely identical. It is the capacity of an object to do work or spend energy by virtue of its position, speed, or other properties. An object that has energy can exert forces on other objects. What precise forces are exerted depends on the specific situation. It can be forces exerted by chemical bonds. It can be forces exerted during a collision between two or more objects. It can be a restoring force like gravity or the springiness of a spring. In all of these cases, the object that is exerting the force will be performing work and losing energy if the other object moves due to the force being applied. It is useful to apply the understanding that we have just gained to a practical and a bit confusing example in real life. Imagine a person trying to push or pull against a solid wall. We see that the person is clearly exerting force. We see that he is clearly expending energy. He is getting tired, he is getting hot, he is perspiring. And yet we say that the work done by this person on that wall is zero, which feels not just wrong but also insulting. But let's try to analyze this scenario in the perspective of physics. The person is clearly exerting a force on the wall, but we say that work is done only if the wall moves as a result of the push or pull exerted by this person. And it is clearly seen that the wall is not moving. Since the wall is not moving, in response to this force, the displacement is zero. So mathematically, the work done on the wall is zero. But then how can we reconcile this clear fact with the other fact that the person is getting tired? Well, let's look at this person in a bit more detail. We can clearly see that the position of the muscles in the person's body is changing from their normal relaxed state. It is also plainly visible that those muscles are under the influence of a force, the muscular force, which is what the person is exerting on the wall. So the two requirements for work, that is the exertion of a force and the displacement of an object, in this case the muscles on this person's body, are both being fulfilled, which means that the work done by the person is non-zero. That work has been used up in shifting the position of those muscles under the muscular force, while the work done on the wall is still zero because the wall has not changed its position under the influence of that same force. It is very important in subsequent lessons that we always keep these important distinctions in mind. The question of whether work is done or not done is meaningless without the context that we need to see first. So whenever you say work is being done, let us be clear what is this work being done on and what kind of work is being done and what energy is changing. Here is a brief summary of what we have done.